Anything else?
Do, well, we're gonna have to pick up.
You got it.
Could we do the allergy series?
Allergy series, good call. Yeah, let's do
But
that.
neck and shoulders will be tight.
Neck and shoulders, sure. Anything else come to mind? That works already. Okay, so bolster 2 blocks, let's roll with that. Let's set ourselves up for a little bit of breathing. So I'm just gonna use 2 blocks to create my wedge. So I'm gonna put 1 block on medium height, and then oh, sorry guys, shit. I'm back. Sorry, I'm here. All right. 1 block on medium height, 1 block on low height. If you got 2 bolsters, you can use a bolster there instead. 1 little sort of bolster to open the chest. If we're pregnant, we're going to roll up a towel or a blanket so that it's less of a back bend. It's just going to be more comfortable. And the more cushy that padding is, the more the pelvis can just go and do what it's going to do. So give yourself what you need. If you're not pregnant, you don't need it, don't use it. So we're going to come down, spine nice and long on that bolster, making sure we're straight. We're going to push into our feet when we arrive. Kind of stay quite close to the bolster. We just kind of lift our pelvis, pushing into our feet. We rock our pelvis, almost like it was a hammock. And then we think about scooching the flesh of the butt away from the low back as we bring the pelvis down. Let's bring our knees together, our feet together, arms beside us, palms up. Just gently squeezing the knees with the exhale. Inhale to open the knees, keeping the soles of the feet firm on the floor. Exhale to squeeze the knees together. Inhale to open the knees up. Good. Just opening and closing those legs, just like that. And then we're going to open those knees as much as is comfortable for us, but keeping the soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to push into our elbows. We're going to push into our hands. If our elbows aren't on the floor, just imagine that they are and push them down. And then I want you to think about someone's hands coming and scooping your armpits and your side ribs from the back body to the front body. Visualizing a little hand underneath your sternum and lift your sternum higher. And then just let the kind of shoulders relax. We're not going to get too crazy and technical with the breath today. We're just going to kind of let it be, but we're going to try and lengthen it and smooth it out. So becoming aware as you breathe in through your nostrils and as you breathe out through your nostrils. And again, not forcing, just organically allowing the breath to grow deeper and stronger. Noticing when we inhale that the breath enters the nostrils slightly cooler. Noticing when we exhale, the breath leaves just a wee little bit warmer. And like any good book, the breath has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there's quite a strong tendency to kind of rush the beginning or end the end, and it kind of sounds like this. Right? It's more forced, it's quicker. So see if you can start to smooth out the beginning and the end of the breath so it's just as mellow, same speed as the mellow middle. Still noticing that when you inhale, the breath enters just a wee little bit cool. And noticing when you exhale, the breath exits just a wee little bit warmer. If you want to go deeper into the hips, you can allow the soles of the feet to clap and the knees to come apart. When I was pregnant, I like to take either like mini bolsters or pillows or rolled up blankets underneath my thighs. Now that we found the rhythm of the breath, let's begin to count. Inhale, breath expanding, 1. Exhale, breath contracting, 1. Inhale, breath expanding, 2. Exhale, breath contracting, 2. Inhale, breath expanding, 3. Exhale, breath contracting, 3. And so on and so forth. Continue to count each and every one of your breaths. Breath, counting, counting, breath. Keeping in mind that we have a side body, a right side, a left side, we have a back body, in addition to our front body. So as we take 10 more rounds of breath, seeing if you can breathe into an area that you've been kind of avoiding. And when those 10 breaths are complete, returning once again to your natural breathing. Then using your hands, draw your knees up, walk the feet so they're hips distance apart, pick up your pelvis, give it a little rock. Now, by sort of late 3rd trimester, some women don't want to be on their pelvis anymore, so the option would be, if that's you, and it doesn't have to be you, I love being on my pelvis on a bolster like all day long when I was pregnant, but not everyone does. So if I wanted to come off my back, then I could lay with a bolster underneath my head, and I could get the number 4 pose by just kind of putting the sole of the foot on the floor like this, or if I was more flexible, I could put the foot in front of the knee, right? So I could do a number 4 on my side, right? And then I could still do kind of that same arm movement we're gonna do. Some of that's gonna be a little different, or stay on the bolster, whatever you like. But anytime you want, you can be on your side, foot on the floor, or foot in front, right? Those of us that are not pregnant and are comfy on our backs, we're going to do a number 4 pose with this kind of mandatory lumbar curve, which makes it a little bit deeper. All right, so I like to take my legs out to a 90, dig my heels in, pick up my right leg, externally rotate, hook my ankle on the outside of the knee, right? So my feet are roughly a hip's distance. If I was pregnant, I might want to go a little wider than my hips. Then I'm going to level up the hips, and I'm going to go in and out with my knee just a little bit. So knee comes to me, knee goes away from me. And then maybe I want to bring my heel in a little closer and see if I still have that movement. Maybe I bring my heel in a little closer and still see if I have that movement. And I can bring my heel in as close as I like, as long as I still have that ability to open and close the door to that hip, okay? And then we're keeping the pelvis level. We're going to take the knee away from us. Then we're going to interlace our fingers, right hand on top of left. We're going to bend our elbows. I'm going to do some circles with our wrists. Just some nice slow circles. Good. And then we're going to change direction with the circles. If the elbows touch, it'll be a little more intense and a little lovely, right? Good. We did this on Monday without the back bend. It's going to be even more intense. Good. If you're close to a wall, you might want to wiggle away from the wall. It's nice to be able to straighten out your arms. And then stopping with the wrist circles. Try and keep your elbows together. Keep the thumbs pointing towards your face and make forearm circles. We're doing like a brain washer here. Forearm circles. Good. And then change direction with the forearm circles. So elbows are together, elbows are trying not to move, and we're making circles with our forearms. How's the temperature in here, you guys? Good. More windows, less windows? Good.
It's tropical.
Does it? That's what we're going for. Rob says it's summer. What Rob wants, he gets. Stopping with the circles, wrists and elbows level. So try and keep those wrists lifted. Slide the elbows to the nose and then down to the navel. So you're lifting those wrists so that they're as high as the elbows. They're not going over the crown of the head. So Tasha, lift those wrists for me. Yeah, now keep them lifted. Exactly. See how that's a little bit more deep. Same with you there, Lisa. See how they're coming over your head? I want them away from your head. So they're not going like this, they're going away from your head like a pinch up. And then stop with the elbows over the shoulders, pull the elbows apart, keep the hands over the sternum, and just rotate those hands right to you, away from you, as we pull those elbows apart. Now relax the shoulders away from the ears. Good. And then palms facing away from us. We're going to inhale to straighten the arms, exhale to bend the arms. Inhale to straighten, exhale to bend. I'm just working with that. I'm trying to keep the wrists, elbows, and shoulders at a shoulder's height. Noticing if one elbow likes to pop higher than the other. And then straighten to hold. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Pull the wrists and elbows apart. Nice big exhale to drop your ribs, back ribs into the bolster. Don't let the ribs pop. And a nice inhale to bring those arms towards the ears without the shoulders eating the neck. So let those shoulders relax away from your ears. Try to keep those pinky fingers from letting go of the grip. And then we're just going to hang out here and we're going to breathe. Big, beautiful breaths. Some people might want to lift the left heel. Some people might want to lift the sole of the left foot. So either the heel or the toe mounds are down to see how that feels. That might be nice and exactly what you're looking for. And so on Monday, we did it with our foot on the wall. Today, we're doing it on a bolster. We could do it without a bolster, without any props at all. Let's go 10 more breaths here. When those 10 reps are complete, bring those arms up and over the shoulders, bend your elbows, flip your palms, bring your arms beside you, let the left heel sink down to the floor, close your eyes, let the shoulders melt over the bolsters as we take 5 big, full, smooth breaths here. Slowing down the middle, slowing down the end so the breath is even. And then sliding that left foot away from you until it gives you a little more space for the hip. Draw the right knee towards your navel, uncross. Put your hands on that right thigh and see if you can straighten that right leg up towards the sky. See if you can straighten the left leg away from you, right? If it's too much, you bend one or both knees. I like to take my hand onto my quad and really push into it. And then we're going to point and flex that right foot. If I was pregnant, I might take my hands behind the hamstring. And then point that right toe, draw some nice big slow circles. Bending if you need to, push your hand into your quad to get that resistance. And then we're going to flex, curl, point and flip, flex, curl, point and flip, flex, curl, point and flip. Beautiful. Bend both knees, both feet on the floor. Pick up your pelvis, give it a little wiggle. Try not to move away from the bolster too much. Really root your back body into the bolster. Just let the low back release. Think about scooching the flesh of the butt away from the low back. And let's come to the other side. So slide those feet away to a 90. Dig your heels in so you know your feet are active. Remember, number 1 rule for number 4 pose is that the big toe heel edge of the foot is level with the baby toe edge of the heel. Bring that left leg up, externally rotate it. Hook the ankle and then just open and close the door to that hip. Just kind of bring it to you, away from you. And then gradually bringing that right heel to you, but not going past a place where you can still open and close the door to that hip. And eventually opening up that knee as much as is comfortable for you. Hips level, good. Interlace your fingers. This time the left hand is on top of the right. Get those fingers right up to the webbing. Now really use your fingertips. Push them down into your hands. Good. Bend your elbows. Try and bring your elbows together. Try and create a 90-degree angle with your elbows, your wrists, and your shoulders. So elbows at a shoulder's height, wrists as high as the elbows. And it's tricky because obviously you're lying at an angle. Change direction with the forearm circles. If it's too much to keep those elbows together, just take them apart. If it's too much to keep the elbows high, just take them a little lower. Do you? And then stopping with those circles, get the thumbs so they're pointing down towards your face and make forearm circles without that rotation. So it's like the knuckles are drawing circles, right? Without twisting. Good. Change direction with those circles. And then stopping with those circles, wrists and elbows level. Inhale the elbows towards the nose. Exhale the elbows towards the navel. And then elbows over the shoulders, pull the elbows apart. As you pull the elbows apart, commit to the fingers and just rotate the hands over your sternum. So you're just rotating the palms away from your sternum, rotating to you. Use your peripheral vision to keep an eye on those elbows and spot your habits. You're pulling the elbows apart and you're going to notice if one elbow likes to go up, if both elbows like to go up, or whatever. Find those elbows level with the shoulders. Stop with the palms facing away from you. Inhale to straighten the arms. Exhale to bend the arms. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. And then straighten to hold. Relax your shoulders. Remember, you don't have to go as far as you are uncomfortable. Go to where it's comfortable. Slowly bring those arms towards the ears as we really push those back ribs into the bolster. Come to a place that's comfy. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed and not eating your neck. Close your eyes and breathe. And so 5 more big full breaths here. Keeping both feet nice and active. When those breaths are complete, nice inhale to bring those arms back up and over. Bend your elbows, flip your palms. Release those arms beside you, shoulders relaxing. Take a moment. And then walking that right foot away from you, feet active, draw the left knee to the navel, uncross, open up the back of the left knee, bring your hand to the quad to create some resistance. Maybe you slide the right foot away, and then we're going to point and flex that left foot. And then pointing our foot and drawing some nice big, slow circles. Change direction. And then stopping with the circles, flex, curl, point and flip, flex, curl, point and flip, flex, curl, point and flip, and release. Good. Both feet on the floor, pick up your pelvis, rock it like a hammock. And then rock it a little further to the left. Let's roll off to the right. Let's push ourselves up. We're going to put the bolster underneath our knees, okay? I'm going to do some really interesting lungy stuff today, so I'd like to have that extra support. Hey, Miss Chunny, can you grab your own mat, please? Good girl. You're a good girl. She's a little mad at me because I went skiing 2 weekends in a row. She was like really feeling nice. Is this going to be a thing now? You guys went outside, you came back smelling all good and sweaty, and it's so much fun. Try that. On your mat. All right. So knees and feet are hips distance apart. Second, third trimester, you might want to go wider with those feet and knees, right? You can go as wide as you feel comfortable, but you want to try and have your ankles in alignment with your knees. So if your knees are like out wide, you take your ankles out wide. And between, you don't have to, just because you did one, you don't have to commit to it. You can come in a bit, go out a bit, do what you got to do. Everybody else is at hips distance apart, toes are tucked, and we're going to start by kneading those feet, okay? Springtime's all about the feet, right? Second and third trimester, it's all about the feet. I think everybody's third trimester, it's all about the feet. All about the feet. Nice. And getting a nice tucking of those toes, and just bring the weight back into those feet. And again, listen to your knees. We never want to feel our knees. Maybe our hands come back. back, heart center lifts. Good, we're just gonna go 5 breaths here. One day the soles of the feet are pretty flat. And then we're gonna come forward, back into our tabletop position. And we're all gonna move like a pregnant lady today, because why not? It's good learning. We're gonna take our blocks back to us in front of that left thigh, okay? We're gonna pick up that right leg, sweep it around, and take it forward into the lunge. Then we walk our blocks forward, and if we're pregnant, we likely are gonna keep both blocks on the inside third trimester. Sometimes it feels good to take it on the outside, but sometimes that's just a little tight on the belly, so you keep it in. Everybody else, hand on the outside. We make sure that that right shin is at a 90, okay? That the right knee is over the ankle, and then we want to be able to lean into the hips and not move the knee forward. So today, because we're going for depth over structure, we're going to walk that foot forward so that we can lean into our hips, keep our hips square so there's no twisting, but the shin is at a 90. Okay? And then I'm going to lift my heel up, drop my heel down. Lift my heel up, drop my heel down. And I've got a good view of my ankle, and I'm going to notice if I'm sickling. When I'm sickling, what happens is my ankle moves one way or another. Right? I get like a weird looking ankle. I want to try and bring my ankle straight up and straight down without my knee moving forward. If I've robbed myself of distance, then I might find when I lift my heel up that my knee goes forward and I find a little more space. All right? Then we're just going to lift that heel up and we're going to stay with the heel up and we're going to lean into those hips. Some of us might lift up that back foot. Use your fingers, use your palms. Everybody's breathing. Good. Drop the heel only if you need to. Good. And then bring that foot down. Shin doesn't move, heel doesn't drop if possible, and we lift up the back knee. I've still got the right heel up. I've still got the right shin at a 90. Good. Just breathing here. Big, beautiful breaths. Now really think about lengthening the hamstring towards the butts, right? So hamstrings move from the back of the knee to the butt on both legs, and the calves move from the back of the knee to the heel. Good. Now drop that right heel down. Good stuff. Drop the left knee down. Walk the blocks back to you. So if I was pregnant, my blocks would be on the inside. And then flex that right foot. And again, I could be here. I want a straight spine and I want a level pelvis. The tendency is that that right butt lifts to sit it down. Some of us can come all the way back and sit on that foot with a straight spine. Some of us can fold over that foot with a straight spine, right? But there's no hunchy back here, right? It's early games. I don't mind at the end of practice if we have a little hunch. But at the beginning of practice, we want to honor it. Now notice, am I leaning to one side or the other with my hips? Or are my hips in line with my tailbone and in line with my crown? And so again, pregnant ladies, we're probably going to look a little bit more like this, right? You don't even have to straighten that leg if that's too much, right? 50%, especially third trimester. Go easy on yourself. We want to move and loosen this crap up, but now's not the time to become a yogi. Let's go 5 more breaths here. So remember, hamstrings slide to booties, calves slide to heels. I love this split series on the bolster. It's such a nice thing. It's my new favorite. And then when those 5 breaths are complete, bring yourself back forward. Get the sole of the foot on the floor. Good. Lift up that back knee. Bend the back knee. Again, if I'm pregnant, I can bring my blocks a little closer, and I'm going to try and straighten out my front leg, but keep my back knee bent to start with. And then if my pelvis is level, if my spine is straight, then I can straighten out the back leg. See, the sole of my right foot is lifted. Remember, it's ankle season. Lift that back heel if you can, and lift the hip flexors, right? So normally we're here, lift the pelvis and the hip flexors. Find your fingers, find your palms. Everybody's breathing. Good, let's go 10 more breaths here. When those 10 reps are complete, we're gonna bend into that right knee. We're gonna drop the left knee down. Everybody's gonna take their blocks to their own side. So the blocks come to the left, we walk the blocks back to the thigh, bring your foot back, and really do a puppy on a hydrant, right? So I'm gonna keep my 90 and I'm really gonna work that, right? Lifting out my inner leg, inner knee. Pushing into my hands. Good. Woohoo!
It's a big no-no for my dance teacher.
Was puppy hydrant?
Yeah. He has told me before, no good, no puppy hydrant.
And the knees on the bolster, toes tucked, good stuff. Warm up those toes a little bit, good. Take the blocks to the side. You can do a puppy pose, a child's pose, or a down dog pose, whatever you fancy. Puppy's really nice with that little bit of height too. And so if I was pregnant, one of my favorite things was knees quite wide, feet quite wide, and then pushing back into those hips, right? Obviously, it just depends on how much space there is. The bolster is nice because the feet love that release, especially, I don't know, people that have quite a lot of flexibility. So Jess, you might notice that your feet are quite sensitive in pregnancy and after. The more foot exercises you do pre-pregnancy, especially if you're Benji Menderson, the more your feet are going to love you after. Something about post-birth that really bendy people have a lot of trouble with their feet. Let's go 10 more reps here. And Victoria just had her baby. Yay! What's her name? Do you remember? Oh gosh, I can't think of it now. I want to say Blake. And cousin Kate's off on maternity. 2 down, 2 to go, ladies. In this class. And then drop down onto those knees, get those hands on those blocks. Let's do the other side. Good. So let's take those blocks in close towards that right leg. Let's pick up that left leg, bring it forward. Again, we're going for depth here, so we're going to walk that foot forward till the shin's at 90, and we can lean into the hips. You know, second trimester, foot's a little bit wider. Third trimester, hands on the inside. Great. So we started by just kind of lifting that left heel up and dropping it down, lifting it up, dropping it down, watching that we're not sickling the ankle. And as we do this, we're trying to keep that shin at a 90, so my block's not really moving forward or back. And then we're going to lift that heel up to hold that heel up. Push down into the blocks, pull those femurs in, and then maybe that back foot's going to lift. And it's a lot of hamstring, right? We lean into those hips to get that nice hip flexor quad stretch. So biker, hiker, runner, sitter, anyone that fans of the hip flexors, humans, human bodies. Pretty much. Watch that shin. See how that shin's coming forward a little bit? So pull the hip back with the foot forward. Yeah. Good. And then bringing that back toe down, tucking that toe, lift the knee for a moment. You can drop the heel down if you like. Use your fingers, use your palms. Lengthen the quad. Good. Knee comes down. And we just kind of start to walk the hands back. We start to straighten out that left leg. Big tendency that that left butt lifts. So we're going to sit that left booty down. Get our spine straight. Some of us, it's quite comfortable to sit back on that heel. Some of us can come into a straight back fold. And then just breathing here. Big, beautiful breaths. Focus on your body from the inside. Focus on your breath, finding the right level of sensation and stretch for your body. Pain equals, in my world, very little gain. There's no gain from pain in yoga. Life is painful. Yoga should not be. This is not running an Olympic race. This is healing your body so you can do what you love to do. Let's go 5 more breaths here. And then when those 5 breaths are complete, we're going to come forward. Sole the left foot on the floor. Lift that right knee, but keep it really bent, like you're just about to touch the bolster. Take your hips back. Lift up the sole of the left foot so just the heel is down if possible. Straighten out that left leg if you can. And then I want you to try and keep the sole of the right foot level with the wall. And I want you to straighten that back leg by taking the pelvis up. Right? So if I had a block on my pelvis, you can see my pelvis lifts. But I could see how flat the sole of my right foot is. Just breathing here. Big, beautiful breaths. Straight back. Pull those arm bones in as much as you need to so that you're not hunchy Huntersons in that upper back. Getting much better, Norma. Good work. Excellent, everyone. Let's go 10 more slow, deep breaths here, in and out through our nose. When those 10 breaths are complete, bending the back leg, bring the sole of the left foot onto the floor, drop that back knee. Both blocks come to the right, move the blocks to you, and let's really work that hip, bringing it around and back. Right, so like a fire hydrant pose, it's nice on that height because we can get a little more exploration in the hip. Really using your fingers, we never want to feel our wrists in yoga. Lifting the ankle and the knee. And then bringing both knees back, both feet back, toes tucked. So again, child's pose with a nice toe stretch, puppy pose with the arms, down dog pose, right? Or if you wanted to, you could drop down onto your elbows and get a little dolphin pose. That'll be nice, especially if you're doing the Ekapadaraja Kapotasana that's coming. If it felt just like you wanted to lift a leg, feel free. You want to bend it, feel free. But really keeping the pelvis nice and level. If it feels like you just want to keep both feet on the floor, that's good too. I love, if I'm doing a Ekapadaraja Kapotasana, I love this bent knee stretch right here. Like what I'm doing where I do a split, I really level the pelvis, and I bend that knee, and I really activate that foot. And then I would do the other side, I bring it up in a split, I bend, I hold, I lengthen the quad, I really think Barbie foot, and I lengthen my quad. Otherwise, anything you like. Let's go 5 more breaths here, even out your sides. So you see how you're twisting that pelvis, Naomi? Try and keep it level. Yeah. And then more ankle. You're sickling the ankle, so active foot. Foot active, not sickling. No wrinkles in the ankle. If you're going that deep, you want to have the foot super active. Nice. So let's do it again. When you're down, knees down. Hands on blocks, okay? And again, if we're pregnant, we can go through the dog hydrant thing, or if we just want to strengthen our hip that way. Otherwise, step the right foot forward. Don't go quite as deep. Keep a little bit for yourself, okay? Keep that right knee at a 90, pull in those femurs, maybe your hands come up. Good. Maybe you can square the hips, maybe you can lean into it. Nice. Maybe you can even start to lift that back foot up. Maybe the arms can come up, and maybe you can think about really reaching with those elbows as you start to go back with those hands towards that foot. I find it harder on the hike, but we'll do another round without the hike. And even just like a nice quad stretch would be elbow on the knee, reach around with the foot, grab the foot, and just pull the heel towards the butt.
So what do you do with the shoulder with this position?
What do I do with the shoulder?
Do you open it up or?
Yeah, it's like a back bend, so I just start to take my elbows back. I kind of wiggle my foot, and that's how my hands are going to find my foot. Right, so I have to wiggle, 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 and my hands just kind of find that foot.
What if I can't find it?
You definitely shouldn't have a shin like that.
Oh, correct.
Yeah. You need more yoga then, I guess, or you just lose the attachment to it. And then hands come down, good stuff, hands on there, good. We're gonna lift up that front heel, we're gonna drop that front heel. Lift up that front heel, drop the front heel, good. And then see if you can lift up the front heel, lift up the back knee. Good, find your fingers, find your palms, good. Drop the heel, bend that back knee, straighten out the front leg, lifting up the sole of the foot, straighten out the back leg. Good, really find that lift in the hips. So I'm not sinking into my heel, this is crucial, but I'm lifting my heel up so I'm getting the lift in the hips. Nice. Drop onto that back knee nice and slow. Good. Maybe you stay there, maybe you sit back, maybe you do the forward fold. Maybe you don't. Up we come, hands on the blocks, back into your lunge, lift the back knee, find both feet, bend the back leg, straighten the front leg, and maybe if you want to go deeper, you just slide 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, right? We're really using the blocks. Now the trick is to lift the pelvis. The back toe is tucked, sole of the foot is level, right? A lunge is great, especially if you're pregnant. A nice long lunge hold, drop the knee, lift the knee, just play with it, awesome. Rest when you need to rest, right? If you're doing the splits, I want you to come down just to a place that's comfy where you can really hang out, pull in those femurs, and then we've got that bolster under our pelvis, which is nice, if you want it, right? If you don't need it, you obviously don't need it. Just go to where you can, right? Trick is pull those femurs in, level the pelvis, push hard into those hands. Because the splits is a lift. It's not like heavy on the floor, it's really light on the floor. And then if I had my split, I could twist right. I could see if I could bend. I could grab the foot, Erica, and then I could sweep it around. I like to twist right instead of left because then I know I don't compromise the pelvis. Did you get that? So I twist right, so my pelvis is level, which means my foot comes up without twerking the knee. So not for you. Yeah. I grab my big toe, I lift, I bring it through, I bind. Nice. And notice how I'm not super warmed up in my upper back because it's giving me a good boundary. And then I'm going to come up. Everybody comes into the lunge. Drop onto that back knee. Step it back. Child's pose, puppy pose, down dog pose, or pincha. Elbows on the floor, dolphin. Whatever you like. Remember, we have the other side, so slow down your heart rate by slowing down your breath. getting that nice hamstring release, quad release, I like to come up with a straight leg like I'm doing a split, and then I bend without rotation, and I think of lengthening the quad, really active foot, just like I would in Ekapada or Kapotasana. Right? And then I straighten like I would in Ekapada, and I bring it down without my spine getting pissed off. See how my heels are so high? Heels super lifted. I bend the knee without rotation, right? I hold it. I think about lengthening the quad, lengthening the knee. And then just like in Ekapada or Kapotasana, I straighten and I bring it down. Good. Let's do the other side. So, we got our bolsters. We got our knees on our bolsters. We're going to step that left foot forward, do what we got to do for pregnant. Not going to our deepest, but kind of keeping a little left for us. Good. Make sure the feet are a little bit wide. Lean into those hips. So some people elbow on the knee. I like to think of a little bit of an internal rotation of this left knee to get the twist. I grab the foot, and I can get a badass, long, solid quad stretch here. Right? Great. Or here, right? I don't have to twist. We all kind of have something we can hold. So if I'm doing an Ekapada, it's not spilling my pelvis to the floor. That's naughty. You get away with that until you're 20, and then you're at the chiro. So you have to lift your pelvis off the floor, bring those arms up, find your hands, find your elbows. It's a real lengthening of the elbows, and you just kind of take the chest back. If I wiggle my foot, I'm more likely to find it. Right? For me, it's like, I can hear it or something. I feel it in space. Otherwise, she's like, where's that freaking foot? Come get me. And then hands come down, tuck that back toe, lift that front heel, lift that back knee. So here I'm getting this nice foot lift, which is a great pelvic release for those lovely pregnant ladies. And they could even do it with their knee down if they're like, give me a break. Nice. And then bring the sole of that left foot down, drop the knee like you're going to touch it down, take the hips back, straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. So again, you can see I'm popping my pelvis up. I'm putting a really strong boundary on this back heel so I get that lift in the pelvis, right? That's a hard one to find, and backs love that learning how the pelvis can lift. Let's go 10 more big breaths here. And again, pregnant ladies, bend your knee, drop your knee, do what you gotta do. But holds are so good for you right now. A little movement in those holds, a little rocking, whatever you feel like. Do you. And then we're gonna try and drop that knee without bending the left knee if possible. If we bend it, we bend it. And then we stay here, or we bring it back, whatever we like. Maybe we fold. Keep on breathing. Wednesdays are fun because it's a range. We've got Erica, who's like, you know, young and good at things, really good. And then we've got all the pregnant ladies, so it's a nice all levels, proper all levels, right? Which is great. We shouldn't send all the pregnant ladies away, and we shouldn't tell all the old people they have to go to the seniors' home. That's not what life is. That's not healthy for anybody, especially the pregnant ladies. All right, ready? Come forward. Probably especially the seniors, really. Lift that back knee, but bend it a little bit, straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg, and then you just kind of slide that front foot forward. But again, I'm lifting up. I'm not just like, I'm really trying to come away from the floor. I slide, slide, slide. The pelvis eventually might come onto the bolster, which is a really nice place to hang out, and then I try and lift the knee, not the hamstring. I can't stand it when people put a bolster or block on a hamstring. It's gotta be pelvis, okay? If I don't need it, I don't need it. Right, and if I don't need it, then I twist left. So that I don't twist the pelvis. When I bend the knee, it's level, right? And then I can grab that foot, spin it around, and find it. Right, so that back toe is tucked, right hand in front of right hip, left hand behind left butt, bend, grab, I like to grab the big toe, and then I just flip the grip. Don't do it.
No, I'm not.
That's good. Unless you stay straight, release it. Nice, and then when you're done, that feels even. You're gonna push down, lift the pelvis into a lunge, back. Puppy pose, child's pose, down dog pose, whatever you feel like. Focus on your body, focus on your breath. Let's go 10 more breaths here. And then when those 10 breaths are complete, any child's pose you fancy. And just slow down your heart rate, slow down your breath. It can be on your butt, whatever you need. We're not going to be here too long. And then nice inhale to push ourselves up. So we can sit on one bolster, or if we need more height, we can sit on 2 bolsters or 2 blocks under a bolster, okay? What I'm looking for is that I can do a cross-legged pose without my knees being higher than my hip flexors. We just release the living daylights out of our hip flexors. So if our knees are higher than our hip flexors, we're just gonna go and tighten those up, and then I'll just be like, why would you do that? Don't do that. If you can be on one bolster, then you're on one bolster. If you don't need a bolster, you don't need a bolster. If you can do half lotus or full lotus, you can do half lotus or full lotus because we are nice and warmed up. Okay, hands on the knees, shoulders back, heart center lifts, hands in namaskar in front of us straight. Relax the shoulders. Close your eyes, think of your Valentine, right? And then write in the biggest block letters ever the name of your Valentine. Mine's Chandra. I'm trying to get back in her good books.
My Valentine is Mia now.
There you go. And just keep writing the name of your Valentine. I can be your Valentine if you like. Just send them lots of love. Good. Nobody should ever feel their knees. One more time. It's a short name. Write it twice. Keep those arms straight if you can. Good. And then we're going to do the infinity sign. So it's a number 8 taking a nap. A number 8 on its back. Arms are straight. Good.
Oh, I'm feeling my shoulder.
Yeah. We want those arms pulling just right out. Good, so then do the infinity sign the other way. Oddly difficult. Doesn't have to be huge. Feet nice and active. Good. Release, palms facing up, shoulders back, sit up nice and tall. Gorgeous. So whether you're on bolsters or on the floor, we're going to take our right hand to the right. And I just want us to have a straight spine, but with some support, right hand's on the right. So if you're on a bolster, it's on a bolster, okay? And then I want you to look at the two sides of the torso. So this is me bulging, right? And this is me straightening. Bulging, straightening. Bulging, straightening. So when I bulge on one side, you see I get a bulge, and this armpit to hip shortens, this one becomes long. So the magical back release that can happen here is without a bulge, okay? So we're gonna keep our armpits level, we're gonna walk the right hand to the right, we're gonna lengthen right armpit from right hip, so there's no bulge. That's the magic, and then especially if you're a nurse, especially a pregnant nurse, you're probably gonna get a stretch right here, right? That's a super tight spot for people that sacrifice their body in service of others, bless y'all. So teachers, dentists, right? That kind of person. And they will kind of rob themselves by doing this, right? And then you can see, just for fun, bulge. Notice how you lose that gorgeous stretch in the love handle. And then straighten. Good. And then see if you can grab your back of the skull, right? Level up your neck because your left ear wants to go to the left, so level up. Your spine's at an angle, so your head's at an ankle. And then open and close the elbow. So this one's for you, Lisa. Head pushes into hand, hand pushes into head, right? So a lot of us straighten our arm in like not an external rotation. So let's bring that elbow in like a headstand. Really think of a baseball glove, and your armpit's a baseball glove, right? So it's scooping, and then straighten the arm without losing that shoulder. Better. You feel that, eh? Yeah, good. And then just breathe in. You can look down if you fancy. You can look forward. You can look up. I don't mind, but just make sure the neck is comfy, and that we're not bulging. Okay? That we're really pulling this right armpit away from the right hip. And the hand can stay on the head too, right? That's gorgeous. Everybody's breathing. Five more breaths. If cross-legged becomes uncomfortable in those bolsters, you could do a creeper with the soles of the feet on the floor, just like we started with. And when those 5 breaths are complete, nice inhale to come up, release, let those palms face up, shoulders relax, close your eyes, and just feel the difference between the right side and the left side. Good. Let's uncross. Whatever height we're on, we're going to stay on that height. We're going to dig our heels in, hands beside our hips, shoulders back, and we're just going to roll on those heels, right? So I like a 90-degree angle. I'm going to try to not lose my pelvis, and I'm just going to rotate my femurs inside the hips. It's an internal-external rotation, 90-degree angle. Good. So if I'm on height, I just stay on that height because likely I need that height to get this rotation, which is so good. Nice. Now take the knees to the right. Just let them both come to the right. Dig those heels in, no wrinkles. Left knee's going to stay, right, but it's lifting and pushing. And then the right knee is going to come to the left knee, just to where it's comfy. And just see how that feels. Good. And then the left knee comes out. Good. Relax the shoulders, dig the heels in, and then nice and slow, right knee comes to left knee. And just see how that feels. Good. And then take them apart. Good stuff. Let's come into the opposite crossing. So whatever shin was in front last time, opposite shin this time. Hands out in front of us. Good stuff. Palms meet, shoulders relax, feet active. Think of a different Valentine, and it could be yourself, right? Try to keep the arms straight, but if that's too much, don't. It's amazing how much heat this builds, hey? One more name. And then you're lying down, infinity sign. As big as you can, and ideally those arms are straight, right? Big as you can. Good. So this is all back, upper back. Good. Change direction. Unconditional infinity love. Look at us being all cheesy. It's been Valentine Grand Central at my house. They wanted Saul to bring 36 Valentines to each day, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, oh, I forgot. Because there's 18 is morning class and 18 is afternoon class. I'm like, oh my god, I'm a working mom. Are you kidding me? Shoulders back, heart center lifts, close your eyes, and just breathe. All right, so left hand beside you, and let's just work on loosening up the intercostal muscles. Pop the ribs to the right, straighten. Pop, straighten. Good. And so right armpit lifts, left armpit drops. Then when we straighten, we notice our spine is still straight. So we're really trying to open up these intercostal muscles. And then we're going to commit to straight. Good. And we're going to come down over that left side. So you can see we're not bulging. Left hip roots. I'm pulling my left armpit away from my left hip. And that's how I get this gorgeous fascial release in my love handle, which is that tight, tight spot. And just think, cha-ching. My right ribs go to my left, and I lengthen on the bottom side. Hand comes to the back of the skull. I level up my head. For some reason, my eyes want to level, but I actually want my head to be in line with my spine. Okay, so my eyes can't be level. Hands come to the back of the skull. I push my head into my hand, and my hand is pushing my head back. So I'm strengthening my neck. Good, and then I'm going to open and close this elbow. All right, just play with that. Keep it in your kind of peripheral sight. Good. I can keep my hand on my head, or I can bring my elbow to a shoulder's distance. Really suck up my armpit. Good, like it's an ice cream scoop. And then straighten my arm without changing rotation. Then my hand is on a table, and I'm sliding that hand away from that hip. Good, and then just breathing here. Use the same gaze you did on the other side. So what you did on one side, you do on the other. Super active ankles. Nobody's allowed to feel their knees. Let's go 5 more breaths. Nice, Marlene, that looks great. Also in service of others. Sometimes that gets so tight. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's from the heart or if it's just from the physical work. I don't know, but it really gets. Teachers too sometimes get super tight in there. And then when that's complete, bring it up. Nice straight spine. Good. Release your palms, shoulders back, close your eyes, find your breath. And so that's a great rib cage opener, right? So let's breathe into that space. And then unwinding those legs. Let's straighten them out. Again, knees a little bit bent, point and flex just to release those knees on whatever height you're playing with. So if you're not on height, don't be on height. Good. And then we're just going to see if we can take that left hand outside the left hip, right hand onto right knee, could be on the bolster, and we just start to twist here. So again, those side stretches, pregnant ladies, but everybody, right? Our bodies love this. Right, so maybe the hand stays here, maybe we get this twist, maybe the elbow comes to the knee, maybe the hand grabs the foot, maybe the armpit comes to the knee, right? I just take it to wherever I go. Maybe my head comes to my hand, maybe I find that elbow, maybe I straighten my arm like this. I love this stretch. Good. Big, beautiful breaths. If I wanted to come into a bind from here, my right arm would come under, it would internally rotate, I'd bend that right arm to the love handle, right hand would take left fist, I could bring it in, feet, right? Get a little twist here, right? Otherwise, this is just holding this and breathing, okay? I really like to take the one foot on top of the other foot and do a little clam here. That's one of my favorite things. So weird. It's weird, eh? But it's just ankle stability inversions. So one lifts up, one pushes down. It's just that, being able to stabilize your ankle in space. It's good, and you can do it at the beach, right? You don't have to be in the studio, right? Bang, right? And then you can also do the forward fold version, right? Nice, Chris. Look at you, beach yoga. Let's go 5 more breaths on this side. So wherever we're at, remember that hand could be here, just getting that nice length in the torso. Everybody's breathing.
Have you not shortened when you're lying on the right side?
I think it's shoulder flexibility. Yeah. See how I don't change my shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a lot of, see how I'm lifting my armpit?
Yeah.
It's a lot of armpit away from the hip the whole time so I don't lose my back. I'm also shorter than you, and I have less of that habit because I'm,
Yeah, I realized.
yeah. And then back to center, everybody. Either hands on knees, fingers on the floor, shoulders relaxed. If you're so inclined to forward fold, you can. Whatever you want to do, let's just go 5 breaths in the middle before we do the other twist. And third trimester, it's just all about these, like, just giving yourself some space here. So this is just hanging out like this, right? This is a nice one. And so let's do the other side. We come up, hands on knees, nice inhale. I always like to center my heels so I know I'm not just flopping it open, right? Shoulders back, one hand on one knee, one hand on the bolster, shoulders back. Maybe you start to bring it in, maybe it's an elbow, maybe it's a shoulder, maybe you grab a foot, maybe you grab a skull, right? Maybe you flap the wings, maybe you extend. Lots of options, right? Maybe it's just like this. This, like I said, I just loved just resting my forehead on something that last trimester, and you're just getting this side opening that just is great, right? It takes it out of that hip. So, good question. So, Lisa wanted to know how I don't really change the shoulder or get a shortening on one side. So it's all that information. Like what I really think is like a stick in my hip flexor and a crutch in my armpit, and I'm really keeping that length as I bring it through. I also don't go to my deepest ever, really, very rarely, right? Then I internally rotate. My right hand grabs my left fist so I can drag my heels in. It's like Tadasana. I have to think internal rotation to kick up to keep that really strong leg. Good. And then I like to take an ankle over an ankle and bang out a couple clams. Nice. It's kind of neat on the shoulder too, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a goodie. I prefer the left on top. It's good to do both. Sorry, I prefer the right on top. I always like the non-binder on top, like the bottom one on top, because that's how the arm balance is. Maybe next week we'll do the arm balance. Kick it up. Then it would be a centered heel. Lots of us want to externally rotate here, and then you're spreading, you're not going to go very far. So you have to take neutral rotation. You slide the heels straight up. Good. And then come into that fold. Let's just go 5 more breaths here, wherever we're at. Right. Anything that feels appropriate. Sometimes we do a T-arm. Nice. And then eventually we're going to release back to center. Good. So we're going to give our legs a hug. If I was in my last trimester, I'd put a bolster under my head or a block underneath my head if I only had one bolster. Then I'd put a bolster or pillow between my legs. And I'd lie on the right. Even though my heart's on the left, when we're pregnant, we lie on our right. All right, everybody else, we're going to lie on our backs. So knees together, feet together, make a nice seat, bring it down nice and slow. Good. We're going to bring those legs up and just give them a hug. Relax the shoulders, find your breath. And so the pregnant ladies, you can do kind of even like pull one leg up. What I really loved, I'll show you. with the bolster between the knees. And I used to, during labor, Stephen used to do this to me. He'd like put your hand on the pelvis and just rock your pelvis, right? But you can do it for yourself. You just kind of rock your femur in and out. Oh, it's so good. And the rest of us, when we feel like we release the back, we're just going to come into Shavasana. So I'm just taking my top knee away from me, top knee to me, top knee away from me, top knee to me. So just rock out that pelvis. And you have a bolster, so you may as well use it. Chuck it underneath your thighs and relax. You don't want to, obviously don't, but it's just such a treat. And then slowly, gently starting to wake up your body from the inside by deepening your breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Nice big inhale to stretch your arms. Exhale to let your arms fall down heavy. As we start to bend our knees, walk our feet towards our seat. We're going to take an exhale to roll off to the right. Nice inhale and arm strength to push ourselves up. Find a comfortable seated position that's going to work for you. Hands into Namaskara. Let's end with closed mouth coming home before we dedicate the merit of our practice. Maybe use this class to be mindful that it's nice to have a journey, it's nice to have an end to journey towards, but it's always the journey that matters in the end. So doing our best to savor every step, every breath, every last couple weeks of pregnancy as much as we can. Namaste. Namaste, 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 namaste. It's like when you give notice at your job, right? You're just like, get me out of here. It's that last